If you're always trying to make up for lost time, then you are always going to feel like you're behind. So I started being injured when I was 16 years old because the time even growing up, I was always just small. I was a late bloomer and hit puberty late. I was tiny. I was unathletic. I was super slow. And so, to make up for this, I just learned I could catch up by working harder than anyone else. And this worked a little bit in the short term. And then here's what happened over the next few years from this feeling of catch up and training my ass off and not realizing how that's not going to work. So I had tendonitis in my knees that started off very light when I was 16. I kept going harder and harder through it and just learning the normal high school athletic trainer advice of icing and basic stretching and just waiting it out and working through it. Then I was tearing up my knees to the point where the tendons were getting partial tears. And then over 2 years, they became almost frayed off the bone to where they were just so dysfunctional and unhealthy I couldn't even walk without limping now. And the orthopedic doctor I'd seen, all we've done is up my prescription from Advil to naproxen, then tramadol, and basically opiate type stuff now. Physical therapy wasn't helping. So I had to miss my senior year of high school, and I missed my freshman year of college from that, all because I was trying to catch up as a teenager. So now I'm 19. I have a knee surgery. It doesn't really help, but I learn enough about building up tissue directly, graded exposure, take the very vulnerable tissue and scale it back to such an easy level so I can actually get some progress. Okay, cool. I actually get past the knee injury finally. From 16 to 19, that's my first heartbreak. But what does that mean? I gotta catch up because now I'm almost 20 and I lost a year of eligibility. So now I'm going to run track. I hadn't had any real times. I've never been a sprinter because I was forced to be a distance runner in high school. So now I have to prove myself and start training my ass off to even make the team at my new college. And so I started from no running to running 3, 4 times a week coming back from injury. Knees were great. Started to get shin splints. That kind of sucks. I'm missing some days and I'm trying to keep training because I have to catch up. Now I have stress fractures. So both of my shin bones develop these microfractures, and that takes a long time to heal. So now I miss another 2 years of college in this loop of stress fractures on both legs. I wasn't even supposed to walk. I'm like using crutches, but to walk on two legs and looking like a clown. So now I went from 16 to 19, missing everything from my knee injuries because I'm trying to catch up and just work extra hard and not just heal. And then now from 19 to almost 22, I missed 2 more years of college because of my stress fractures in my shins. Now I'm finally free and I'm ready to go because it's been years of waiting and building up everything for the day I get to just train and prove that this hard work counts for something. And so I'm squatting and I'm sprinting and I'm trying to get back into track to catch up. And then I herniated a disc. And my hips were so tight and I didn't even realize until one day lifting. And I just herniated 2 discs. And it starts this entire loop that you guys are probably familiar with for me of my disc herniations, SI joint problems, and then how it affected my hips. And so now I'm hopeless. Now I'm helpless. I'm 22. My back isn't getting better. My body's starting to warp. My hips are getting a lateral tilt like this. So now I'm having hip impingement. And then I get a sports hernia one day doing a dead bug when I'm 22. So now I'm living with that issue of my back and hips for at least about 3 years. I'm almost 25. And I missed all of college. The pain and mental strain of trying to fix this problem led to me dropping out of school. It led to me being really aimless in a career. I studied exercise science only in college just to fix my own body because I just couldn't figure it out as a patient. So I thought, let me go intern at physical therapy clinics. Let me go to conferences and get into research. And none of that fixed me. So then I was like, what the fuck? I have nothing to nothing to look for here. And it led to me losing my mind. I was chronically hurt, so I was chronically anxious and couldn't sleep. And then I was getting sick, and my immune system was terrible. Then I lived with brain fog for over a year, and I went to a psychosis and literally lost my mind. So I had to drop out of school. I couldn't even walk, couldn't function. Um, so then at 25, I finally feel like revelation comes. For whatever reason, I start just saying fuck it in life. I'm feeling like I'm gonna die. I dropped out of school. I'm sick all the time. I'm barely even here mentally, and I'm slowly coming out of this brain fog and brain inflammation I was living in for a year. My knee's finally good. My shin splints are not there. No more stress fractures. I start actually improving my back with the stuff I now teach you guys on. I was trial and erroring this stuff. I found new mentors. I packed up my bags and drove across the country, broke, college dropout, no business, no followers, no nothing. Found knees over toes guy, started learning stuff from him, started meeting other mentors in fitness, started to actually fix my own injuries with gems from all these other people, non-traditional to the field. And then I had no more back issues, and then my hips were getting better, and I could actually sprint, and I could actually train hard. And yes, I missed my entire college career, but now it's okay because I'm back, and I'm finally going to prove the whole time since I was 15. Now I'm 25. Well, now I'm gonna prove it was worth it. And same chip on my shoulder that destroyed me before was still there. Because now, not only did I feel like I was behind, the facts could say I am behind. There's no kid that says when they're 20, I'm going to be a pro athlete. I was 16, I'm going to be a pro athlete. And then they're 20, they've been hurt for 3 years, and they're still like, I'm going to be a pro athlete. Then they're 23, 6 years injured, never proved anything. I'm going to be a pro athlete. Never wavered. 26, I'm going to be a pro athlete. 10 years later, you're a loser in life. I was a loser in life, to family, to friends. I was the most broke. I was the most delusional. I was the most distraught. I was the most anxious. I was the least healthy. I was destroyed. And at no point did I give up on the delusion that, well, it's okay, because as soon as I break through and stop fucking getting hurt, I'm going to catch up. And so it starts to work. And I start to get really athletic. And I start to train my body uninterrupted with no injuries for over a year, including the stuff I teach you guys with joint specific training, with short and long ranges, with graded exposure, scaling back very sensitive areas of your body and training it directly, making weak points a robust strength of yours. And it's feeling incredible. I start this business. I start popping off on social media. I start proving I'm not a loser. I start proving I was right the whole time. You got to be a dreamer. You got to be diligent. You got to stay down. You can't just quit when it feels off. But I still feel like I'm behind. So that energy, always rushing, never left me. So even once I did find out the proper training that I never really had before, and I respected what rest and recovery meant to becoming an athlete, and I understood you can't heal injuries until you heal something much more of a peace of mind of like, you can't be stressed, you can't be always heartbroken, you have to actually grieve the lost time that you're trying to get back by rushing. You need to grieve. You need to sit in it. And so I thought I did all that. So then I could actually start fresh at 25, 26. And I was getting fast. I'm not going to lie. As soon as I started running off no sprint training, I was like hitting PRs out of shape. Running 400s at meets and running completely out of shape PRs. Not that fast still, but faster than I ever was before. And I'm like, this might actually be the time. And now, like clockwork, just to speed it up for y'all, the whole before stage, before becoming low back ability, before having any success, when I dropped out of college because I lost my mind and I was injured and I had no business anymore. I couldn't do anything. I had basically given up on my whole life trying to just not be hurt and figure it out. So I fixed that. I'm no longer broke. I'm no longer going to be homeless. I'm not going to have to live in my car. I'm not going to have to do these crazy things. And so I get back to training and I feel like, I'm never going to have to deal with that stuff again because all of the ignorance I had to training, to life philosophy, to balance, I've addressed that. Now, what was still waiting for me was the fact that I didn't play the long game. I didn't understand what it meant to give up the feeling of lack of being behind. So I started sprint training, getting so much progress on a new athletic body, feeling protected because I've done all the training that's really built up my body. And 3 weeks into training, trying to hit PRs fast. I'm trying to run world class times in 6 months. That's my plan. From completely 8 years removed from sprinting to I'm going to shock the world in 6 months. And I'm on a practice and I run some insane time for me in a 300 and I basically tore a hip flexor muscle off the bone, the sartorius. Really deep upper inner deep groin, and that was in June. Um, Actually, a year before that, I was in the same thing and tore something behind my knee. So I went from having these overuse injuries because I just did way too much all the time and didn't understand training. Well, now I've addressed that and there's no problem, but I'm still trying to rush and I have an athletic, strong body that has never been test driven. So then I tear something behind my knee and then I finally get over that. Took a whole year from age 25 to 27. And then now I'm 27. 8 months ago, I'm finally back on the track and I do that rep of the 300 and I rip a muscle off my hip. And so, even after feeling like I have all the right answers for training and I'm not going to be in that loop, the biggest thing I didn't get rid of yet was that urge to play catch up and to be fast in 6 months and to hit these records now. And so I share this all basically to give you context of where I'm coming from with all this and why I preach the long game and why I even care about this whole message and mission. But also to remind you, even with the perfect plan and the right roadmap, you can still stay stuck forever if you're acting like a stuck person does. And what I mean is that if you're trying to make up for lost time, that's saying, I have lost time and I think I can get it back. Who are people that are in debt trying to get out of debt quickly? Those are called gamblers. And so you're always trying to get it quick and build out of $1 million debt cannot be paid off with one blackjack game. Like you can't go in, I was about to say Russian roulette. You can't come back from something that's taken so much time and feeling like you're behind. It just doesn't work. And it's not exhibiting presence. And so this is just at this point a rant, but it's broken me down so much. I'm not gonna lie, because it was so isolating as a teenager in my early 20s, and I looked stupid to all my family and friends, and was told so many times to basically just grow up, and I just didn't. I just said, well, I would rather fail at this life than win at yours. I'm not gonna lie. And then I finally break through on paper, social media, business. I'm helping people. I'm fixing my own body. Shit's working. But I still never addressed that internal lack that I had since the time I was 12, which was, bro, you're just not enough. You started off behind. You were born behind. Born poor, born in desperation, born injured, born slow, born unathletic. You always have to do extra because you've never been enough. And that feeling of needing to catch up, I just get it now. I understand it now. And I'm kind of out of time to learn this lesson anymore if I'm serious about where I want to go with sports. By the time I'm going to blink, I'm going to be 32. And at that point, I can't still be in this injury loop if I'm serious about not wasting my prime, which I already feel like I lost some of. So, knee injuries turn to surgery, shin splints turn to stress fractures, disc herniation, leading to SI joint problems and chronic, widespread back issues, hip impingement, sports hernia, torn popliteal muscle behind my knee, torn sartorius in the hip flexor. I got 7 chronic injuries that never really left until I decided to just give up and be like, you know what, I'm not in a rush. And so now when I train, I'm sprinting again. I'm going 60 to 80%. I'm lifting any lift I want, and I don't have to be selective about my training. I'm unrestricted. I'm realizing I'm back, and this is exactly when I would shift gears to go catch up. So instead of that, I'm going to fight everything in me and realize there's no more lost time. I've caught up. If I was ever behind and there was such a thing as being caught up, I think I could just say I've caught up. My body is good. My life is okay. My life is great. The role I have to help you guys is a blessing. I do not live in a car. So I hope if there's a piece of my journey that relates to yours, that you can take the real wisdom from it, which was just supposed to be that this shit is never really just about injuries. If it's chronic and you've broken down to tears many times from it, and then you felt hope, and then you felt it stripped away, and you realize you're in a loop, then this is the combo that I think could help you. If you're just here to fix your back because you heard it 6 months ago, then like you're like, who the fuck is this crybaby? What the hell? But yeah, there's no lost time in the present moment. You gotta just be grateful where you're at, because you can have everything you wanted. Like right now, body's good, life is good, my purpose is great, my path's divine. I'm like, this is crazy, but I'm still behind though. And it's like, no, that's where you gotta stop. That's where you gotta stop. Because that's what kept you the whole time. What got you here was a lot of perseverance, and it was winning in spite of all the challenges. But maybe today it's okay to just thrive and not have to win in spite of anything. And so train slower than you'd like, be more patient, be more long-term than you may think. The compound effect will work, and we can maybe escape this loop, this constant setback cycle. So I'm gonna go in, hit some legs, take y'all with me. Hopefully this hit the person it was supposed to hit. I damn sure wish I saw a video like this 5 years ago, but hey, you're seeing it now, so. Starting a sled journey. There's really no amount too light. You can go heavier and go slow, go lighter and go really fast. The problem is, like, a cool feat of an exercise is pretty much useless if you can't lay out some kind of route. And starting flat, I know you could catch yourself with like a ball or just fight and then plop. But progressing like that, if you do survive through that, you end up getting a tweak behind your knee or starts getting sensitive or just plateaus. Everyone I know that's taken Nordic serious has gone through that. So I've gotten to doing damn near like single leg eccentrics on flat Nordic. Even doing this, higher reps, just really helps build the muscles closer behind the knee. But even doing like sets of 20, this really assisted one, you'd be sore as shit. That's how you build calves too. People don't realize how much you have to pull with the upper, the gastroc, the calf. It's crazy. Same for this, don't even go for the flat bench. Go for a range that's way too easy and really own it. Let's go to 80% stretch, build strength there, and then your 80% improves. As soon as you start getting to like 90% range and more, and it's jumping and it's an intense stretch, the risk to just tear something is so high, and I've done it so many times. I still feel good tension and pull when I go here and just hold it. Internal cues giving a bigger stretch. This one is a classic example of trying to make easy things hard. Because if you're not super strict, and you have even slight bend in your knee, it is so easy. You can hold it forever. You feel nothing. Or if you're leaning back, so you have to squeeze the standing glute crazy hard, and then make sure the knee is locked out completely. Not even an inch of range bent. So you need to have straight lockout. This muscle rectus femoris does two things. It flexes your hip and it extends your knee. So you have to do both at the same time. Fully extend the knee, fully lift up the leg. Gets really crampy. If you have nerve pain, super tight hamstrings, can't keep the leg straight that high, just go lower. Kick out to 45 degrees. Own it there with strictness. And it's called reciprocal inhibition. If you can squeeze the crap out of this muscle at the shortest range, the opposite tightness on the other side is going to let up. Doing sets of 5, the 5-second hold. 3, 2, 1. Really squeezing this back glute. So my ribs are down, abs are engaged, and glutes. Body shouldn't move. 2, 1. Body shouldn't move at all. Again, the range is not that hard, but because I'm not reaching down to the bench, I'm reaching out. I try to get my chest forwards. Crazy difference versus just chest down. Feel nothing in the stretch. This thing gives a good middle step. Closer to the stomach, the sooner it taps. To the chest, the further you gotta go. So you don't gotta make those crazy jumps on the incline bench. That superset's cool because it's two places you're really never told to train progressively, and they're both usually tight. Hip flexors and low back. People stretch their back all day because it feels tight. They know their psoas, hip flexor feels tight. But literally versus walking in today versus an hour later, I didn't stretch either of them, and any tightness I had is gone. So I feel more opened up. All I did was train it. So, all right, this one right here is solidifying. Gotta never get any respect by the gym bros here. It is what it is. Single leg reverse hyper. Super underrated. Start body weight without any kind of ankle weight. Start with 30 reps. I worked up to 5 pounds. That's gonna seem like a glute kickback. You'd be like, it's some fit sick stuff. It is hitting glutes, but it also hits very low back towards the SI joint, specifically because our hips are pinned down here. Concept I want you to really understand is anytime you're using a base of support, imagine a bench, which you're taught in powerlifting, is to really pin your shoulder blades down into the bench. That gives you the best strength off of the opposite, right here at the chest. A preacher curl, if you want to feel it the most, right in the head and the peak of the bicep, put something behind it, and now you have something to push off of. Right around base support, that's where the most force is. Same thing, trap 3 raise or the back extension, where the pad is determines where the most force is. So with this, if I got my base of support at the edge of the bench, my SI joint's here, the edge of the bench is right around on the corner of the bench, and I do slow controlled strength at the short range, this is hitting the upper glutes and lower back, right where that joint is super sensitive. If you do like a cable kickback or one of those donkey kick machines, there's not the base of support and the range is just like too big and it's not really controlled enough. You could try it, but versus this, you'll feel the difference. This is how I got rid of the SI joint pain that was coming on and off. Starting to train very specific upper glute and low back work. At the 2-leg reverse hyper is just too much momentum if you're starting with a sensitive back. So 30 reps, keeping the quad flex, raising up, tapping the toe back down. If you want to feel more low back, you go up to the fingertips and lean back. If you want less back, you can lean forward. It takes off extension from the spine. So doing 30. It looks like some fit chick shit, but this is low back health. Low back's already cooked from the other side. Yeah, it's still a low back builder. Crazy. Does not look as hard as it is. Got outer hip drop set. Oh. brutal superset. What the fuck? Low back is cooked, so I even feel it on this. Take this as an example. This is supposed to be for the outer hips. Your low back is involved in literally everything. And you know this because when you do something like this, you may think you're not supposed to feel your low back, and you do. I normally don't, unless I'm fatigued in my low back. So I just did seated good morning, pretty heavy. Just did that single leg reverse hyper. So take it like my today's fatigued level of my back is kind of like my fresh level of my back 2 years ago. So it just reminds me, damn, I'm feeling my back, just fatigue. Working on this. And just remember, it's not a problem. That's just because I'm fatigued. But you guys, you may not just even be fatigued, you are just fresh, and this is where your back is at. It's the same thing as feeling your back when sitting, feeling your back fatigued just from standing. That's your capacity you got to build up. That kind of reserve. You get stronger, you don't feel it. Big juice. The other side's still over. Just gotta keep it off the ground. Tight as you can. 30 seconds here. Jeez. No hands is a good goal. But with weight, I don't know if I got that. Hey, hey, hey. Holy. Sheesh. Body should be pretty straight. And foot shouldn't be rotated up. Should be the heel to the ceiling. The whole leg rotated towards the ground, way harder. Fight for it. Definitely fighting for it. Oh my God, no, but tell me not immediately after you don't feel crazy. So I'm saying, like, you do this stuff and you walk out of the gym feeling different. I'm all for playing the long game, but I like the short wins too sometimes, man. This feels amazing. 30. So both seated good morning and this one are training the glutes as it connects to the low back. So seated good morning is training the glutes under stretch, but that's pulling on the low back, and you're holding that position, shoulders in front of hips. So isometric, complete back strength. This one's short range of the glutes, but still, the back is getting just a little bit of range as it connects to the glutes. You're training it, but you can do all this stuff very gently at the right level with a back that isn't even ready to flex yet, like that. Seated good morning might not be the smart place to start because it's so hard to stay strict when you're tight, and it's risky to get a flare up on that one. That's why I like getting people really good back extension before they go to seated good morning. I know someone's gonna comment, poisoning the program. It's like, because I've heard enough people skipping steps, and so get your back extension levels up. 30 reps body weight, 20 reps single. Get your butterfly close, knees to ground, at least improve. Be able to sit in a deep squat without much issue, no butt wink. Build up your 2 minutes here with the weight. If all that checks out, then yeah, start up seated good morning, really light, incline bench. Oh my God. Weight was a little excessive, not gonna lie. Oh my God. Oh God. No, I mean, this is strength training, y'all. because I just got the pump of all pumps now. So now I'm about to go do incline pigeon and stretch that exact outer glute. And I won't have to go nearly as deep because I have a swollen ass cheek. It is what it is. So now I need less cranking down in the range because muscularly it's pumped up. All right, this is about to be a long video, but I've talked about this before, but it's still crazy to me to this very day. The feeling you get after you just hit the type of sensitive area that's always tight and it just feels nagging, like the deep groin or the outer glutes. You really work on that, do so many sets of just steady work to it, and then a few long range holds or stretches. You'll be sitting in the car like me right now, and I literally feel endorphins leaving my hips. It's the craziest feeling. It literally feels like drugs locally, just to my hips. Like not even opened up in a relief of tightness, like an actual flood of positive feelings. It's weird. It sounds a little sus, but I just did all those weird exercises that take, time to set up, and it's annoying, and doing the single leg reverse hype where I look like a little fit chick, and I'm not getting big gains from it in a way that people can see. But the way I feel right now, it's like I just had a 4-hour deep tissue massage. My hips are glowing. It feels crazy. And if I sit in a squat or try to move my legs or do something crazy, a kick or something, my body's open to it now. Like I feel like I just gained more access where it was previously had a security code against it. So just still just crazy to me, even this many years deep in and being pretty able-bodied and strong, I still have weak points. I still have tight areas and sensitive areas that if I do just 30 to 40 minutes of what can seem tedious at first, but make those accessory exercises like strength training, how I was pushing it on the outer hip drop set and the single leg reverse hyper, and then very focused on the pigeon, all that active work in those areas, it pays off immediate. You will feel amazing. And then tomorrow I might be a little sore, tight in a way that's normal though. But yeah, I wasn't planning on doing a post-game interview here, but it literally feels crazy. And I'm curious if you've had that experience before, whether in the back or hips or whatever, that aha, this is something I need to do consistently. So even if you don't get those days, all the training is building up to have better sessions so you can eventually have it. And just stack those over weeks and months, your normal improves. Your standard just goes up. So, all right, y'all. That's all we got. Long video. Hope you enjoy.